Welcome back to another top 10. So I'm going to do two top 10s in a row here. I was going to do three, but I decided to hold off on the third one. Um, Two different Black Sabbath top 10s. I've actually kind of done this before already too, but I wanted to do it one more time. And the reason I say I've done this before is if you go check out previous stuff, I've done what I call the Black Sabbath Dio Rap Party and the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath Rap Party, where I did my top 10 on those. And this is probably going to fluctuate from those because it's been a while since I did those. And my opinion does change from time to time, as it should. The other thing, too, is this is specifically the Dio top 10. And when I did the top 10 for the Dio years last time, I actually included the Ian Gilliam year one album in there as well because it just kind of Ian sits there on his own. And I wanted to this time just focus 100% specifically on Dio's time with Black Sabbath. That being said, I did also include the album released under the band name Heaven and Hell because fuck Sharon Osbourne with her bullshit with that. Sorry, folks, I'm not going to be nice on that one. I really got issues with the crap that was played with that one. But let's keep away from the politics and let's get into the music itself. All right, so starting off, I basically had 4 albums to pick from here, unlike the 8 I get with Ozzy. So my choices were kind of limited, and I'm going to be honest. 2 of the albums I think are absolutely spectacular. One of the albums still falls almost under a masterpiece. And then there's the Dehumanizer album. All right, so let me get into this. All right. First track on here, Mob Rules, from the album Mob Rules. Why not? Great song, man. Absolutely beautiful. I have loved it ever since I heard the heavy metal soundtrack, which I heard this on the heavy metal soundtrack before I ever owned the album. Fantastic song, man. That scream at the beginning. Oh, come on. Those riffs going. Cherry. All right. That's followed up by Turn Up the Night. Great, fast, solid rocker, man. Turn Up the Night actually is one of those tracks where I could have seen it being a rainbow tune. You know, that's the one thing when you get into the Dio Sabbath years and you look at the Dio Rainbow years, there's a lot of cross comparison and a lot of good cross comparison you can do. But you can definitely tell it's 2 different musicians that Dio's co-writing with on this stuff. After that, we get into the one single song I included off of Dehumanizer, and that is I. There's a couple tracks on Dehumanizer that are pretty decent, but I is the only one to me that was a real standout, and I really enjoyed. Just that you know, just it works. Okay, then next 2 tracks are coming to us off of the Heaven and Hell album. We'll get back around to Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, don't worry. But so the title track, Heaven and Hell, arguably the masterpiece of the Dio Sabbath years. And the one Dio Sabbath song that I really think Ozzy was a fool not to give recognition to when it came to Black Sabbath post Ozzy. Not giving recognition to a lot of the other songs I can understand, but not giving the fair recognition that Heaven and Hell deserved. I would have loved to have heard Ozzy do Heaven and Hell. I'd love to have a copy of Tony Martin doing Heaven and Hell, man. Don't have a copy of that either. Anyways, moving on. Lonely is the World also off the Heaven and Hell album. I think it's a great song. Just really good deep cut. The Sign of the Southern Cross. I really dig this tune. But there are so many cross related songs in the Sabbath catalog that, as much as I love this one, if I were putting together a top 10 of just Sabbath the whole way around from beginning to end, which I will do, I am going to go through the hell of trying to make a top 10 just Sabbath. All the vocalists. But I have to get one more album before I can do that. Sign of the Southern Cross would get bumped for Headless Cross from the Tony Martin years, without a doubt. Breaking into Heaven. This is one of the Heaven and Hell tracks from the Devil You Know album. I dig Breaking into Heaven. I really think it was a really good tune. This whole entire album was just a fantastic album that really kind of, I think, got backburnered really badly and didn't get the credit it deserved at the time of its release, because I didn't even know it had come out until like forever after it came out. Insane. Going with that, Double the Pain. Double the Pain, that's the bass riff at the beginning, man. Oh, that totally got me on that song. Absolutely love that on that song, man. Geezer Butler. Oh, Geezer, I love you, man. I love you. Then I was trying to kind of make up my mind, and I kind of went back and forth over quite a few songs for the last two tracks to put on this list. And I decided to go with Neon Nights. I like Neon Nights. I really do. The problem with Neon Nights is when you put it up against Mob Rules and you get that whole, cool blistering speed kind of thing going on, it feels okay, but it's not all the way there. It feels like Neon Nights, honestly, to me, kind of feels like Paranoid. It's that song at the last minute they slapped together. It was really, really good. But it just kind of, at the last minute, it was a last minute song, kind of feels like it was slapped together, came together just perfectly, that magic moment. So when I say slapped together, I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean, less than 3 hours, boom, there was a song. That's kind of, to me, what Neon Nights feels like. It has that total vibe to it with how fast it kind of just shoots in, gets out, and you're done. Then the last one I put on here was Over and Over. And I kind of really went back and forth over this one because it felt wrong to include it when there were other big actual hits that I left out. But I just really like the way it closes out the album. I think it's a really good tune. And realistically, if this is my top 10 list, I'm putting this top 10 list together as an album. Over and Over is the one that's closing it out. Mob Rules is the one that's opening it. This was actually kind of really close to how I'd actually put together this top 10 list as a greatest hits album. So once again, that's Mob Rules, Turn Up the Night, Heaven and Hell, Lonely as the World, Sign of the Southern Cross, Breaking into Heaven, Double the Pain, Neon Nights, and Over and Over. Those are my 10 Dio Sabbath top 10s, at least the way it is these days. Let me know what you guys think down below. What is your top 10 for Dio in Black Sabbath? I am interested. I'd love to know, man. I really do like to know people's top 10s. So please, by all means, in the comments, give me your top 10 on this. Other than that, folks, if you could hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications, especially that subscribe button, please and thank you. There's a couple links down below. Check those out. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.